everyone, and welcome to another episode of Every Day's a Yay! Woo! Today we have a special guest, my really good friend, the iconic YASMINE! Y'all, she's amazing. She's an emerging artist and musician. I'm gonna pass the mic to her because she wears a lot of hats, so go ahead.
Thank you, Jewel. Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes.
I'm so glad that we're doing this.
Same.
Yeah, I am an aspiring artist. I am an emerging artist. I'm a musician. I do wear a lot of hats. I work a corporate job. I am a friend, a daughter. So I do wear a lot of hats. But at my heart and soul, I'm a musician, and I love bringing that kind of creativity and passion to everything that I do. So I'm excited to be here with you today.
For this episode, we're going to dive into what it means or embracing being a multi-hyphenate. Yes. But before we go into that and before we define what a multi-hyphenate is, drum roll, please.
Okay.
We got a special section called The Goblet of Smiles.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, go ahead, Pig.
I love this scarf that's on it. Okay,
Good,
all right.
go.
Okay. I just pick one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what's in here. Okay. Okay, should I just... I love this. Okay. What's the one Chicago summer bucket list item for you this year? Okay. Did the Taste of Chicago already happen?
I don't know.
I haven't been to the Taste of Chicago in a
You
hot
haven't?
minute. No, I've been.
But you haven't been
in
to
a
in
hot
a
minute.
minute.
Yeah.
That's a good
So that's
list.
one of my bucket list items.
Yeah.
And also just go to as many street festivals as possible.
Ooh,
There's so
that's
much
good.
live music at those, actually.
Yes.
So
But I know you appreciate live music.
I do.
'cause you like
I
perform.
love
period.
live music. I don't know, maybe just to visit as many live music locations in Chicago as possible.
I think for me, I definitely want to go on a boat.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you get to see the water and everything.
Yes.
I want to go on a boat party.
I haven't been invited on a boat yet this year, and I'm upset. So if you're my friend or you're watching this and you haven't invited me on a boat,
Then you fake.
okay.
Period. I want to go on a boat. I feel you on the street festivals.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I just haven't had the time, but I want to. I want to do something that's like a street festival, or you know what they have every year? I definitely missed it. Ghana Fest.
Did it already happen?
I think it did because it happened it happens in early July.
High Park Fest too.
Yeah.
It's usually
Missed that.
lit.
Yeah.
So there's still time. It's July.
What about Lala? Lala's cool. It's a lie. You got thoughts?
I want to perform at Lollapalooza.
As you will.
I want to perform at Lollapalooza.
Period.
It will happen one day.
It will happen. And we'll be there.
Yes, but going is kind of I actually kind of try to avoid all of the Grant Park area during Lollapalooza.
Well, yeah.
The traffic is crazy.
Got you. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So we're diving into embracing being a multi-hyphenate.
Yes.
Can you break it down for us? Like, what does a multi-hyphenate even mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have my phone out.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm going to take this definition from Vogue India, actually.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that we will both really resonate with.
100%.
So it says, people may assume that it's just the Paris Hiltons of the world that benefit from multi-hyphenating. Mm-hmm. Celebrities and the rich and privileged who can afford multiple slashes in their job titles. So the multiple slashes part. Mm-hmm. But we realize that the multi-hyphenate is an equal opportunity descriptor, from the midwives making podcasts and doctors who are Instagram influencers to the techies who moonlight as writers, artists, and musicians.
Look.
And that is honestly exactly how I identify, because I've really started to come to terms with the fact that sometimes we can just be really good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
And there are some things that we're really good at that enable us to lead full lives, but then there are other things that really fuel our souls that we're passionate about, and things that are really important for us to bring to the world.
Yeah.
And it's all about embracing the fact that you can do multiple things. You can be multiple things. You can wear multiple hats. And you can have multiple titles. And however you want to define yourself is how you want to define yourself.
Yeah.
Because a lot of creators, they often don't really call themselves a creator because it's maybe not the main thing they're doing 24/7.
Yeah.
They're doing it because they're doing it, 4 hours a day,
Exactly.
however long they can in a
Outside
day.
of if they have a day job, outside of their day job hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing that you should do first is you should always call yourself a creator, a musician, an artist, a videographer, a producer first, because if that is what's fueling your soul, then that's who you are. That's part of your identity.
I love what you said about you should lead with what fuels your soul. What was like your journey embracing the multiple parts of your identity? Like, what has that looked like?
Oh, girl.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you.
Let's go. We ready.
Okay. I am going to, I'll talk a little bit about college.
Yeah.
But then there's a long journey even from high school.
Go ahead.
So I've always been very passionate about music. So from when I was younger, like before I was 8 or 9, I started taking voice lessons.
Wow.
Because my parents just heard me singing. I had that little Barbie's very relevant now, I guess, but the Barbie karaoke machine. Yeah, the Barbie karaoke machine. I had that. Aww. And so I was like singing along. I think it was to some Christina Aguilera song. My mom was like, "Oh, that sounds really good. You can kind of sing."
Yeah. And y'all, she can sing.
Thank you.
Okay.
And my mom is Filipino, so Filipinos, you know, they love to sing.
Like, that's literally the culture.
Karaoke is in my blood.
Literally.
Okay,
I love it.
It would be my middle name.
Literally.
But they love karaoke, so you know, I always grew up around everybody singing, even if not everybody's good at singing. Everybody was singing anyways, you know. And so it was very clear from a young age that was something that I really enjoyed and I was good at. I love music.
Yeah.
Some of my best memories are listening to some of my parents' favorite records and albums in the car. Like we really listened to a lot of Lenny Kravitz actually growing up. Yeah,
I love that.
And I think my parents have been to like 5 or so Lenny Kravitz concerts. So that's like a core memory for me. Just a lot of music. But also being a part of an immigrant family, it is also really relevant that they want you to create an even better life for yourself.
100%.
Usually how they define that is able to provide for yourself with money, roof over your head, maybe being able to buy your own home, like those kinds of things, right?
Can definitely relate.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the path that I was always on. But my parents did want to nurture my talent because they view those kinds of creative talents as gifts from God, which I agree. I really view being able to perform or create music for people as a part of service. Obviously, it's for me too, right? Yeah. But I do think it really brings something forward to the world. Like, there's a lot that I could not have gotten through without music. So
I know that's right.
Right? So there is a strong foundation of these two things, right? Yes. Needing to create a life that your parents and your family really hope and wish for you, that they sacrificed a lot for you to have. And also the things that you love and you're passionate about. They sent me to a math and science boarding school for high school.
Period. Was it?
It was IMSA. If anybody is familiar, I went to IMSA. It's the Illinois Math and Science Academy. If you know. Y'all,
that's like a really like rigorous. It's the top tech high school, like.
It's a very great high school, and it creates a lot of really amazing opportunities. Yeah. And you know, I had the academic aptitude to go there and succeed there, but I wanted to go to performing arts high school.
Wow.
Which
makes sense.
Yes. So you can apply when you're in 8th grade, and you can apply after your freshman year of high school, because it's only a 3-year high school. But I actually applied in 8th grade because my parents just they were on it. They were like, you're going to do every program. You're going to do all of it.
I love that.
I wrote my essays about music. Oh. They wanted me to write my essays. By they, I mean the school wants to know that you're passionate about math and science, which makes sense. It's a STEM high school, right? I mean, a lot of my graduating class right now, they are doing things like consulting. Some of them are also doing creative pursuits too, but they want you to be passionate about those things. Yeah. And it's not that I wasn't. I was really good at them.
Your soul was calling music more than STEM.
It has been calling music for as long as I can remember.
Period. Came out the womb calling music.
Literally. Yes. For as long as I can remember. We were allowed to have creative outlets there as well. I also had an a cappella group that I was in, and then I eventually became the music director, so I was actually writing our arrangements, right? Yeah. So there were a lot of things there, but it was always academics, and then you do all that other stuff, right? Then, you know, it comes time, your senior year, it's not time to mess around. Your parents sent you here so you could get into a good college. And so then I went on to study economics. For all the places I applied to as economics, I applied to a lot of other colleges actually as a vocal performance major.
Wow.
Yes, and I did full auditions and everything. I physically went there, performed, auditioned, and I got into a couple schools as a vocal performance major. Which a lot of people don't know, actually. That
I didn't know this either.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
And your parents knew too?
Yeah, they did. They went with me to the auditions.
Wow.
And when I got in, they were like, yeah, that was cute.
Which is wild, because I just want y'all to know her parents are like at all of her performances. And I just love the relationship you have with them. Okay, I'll pass the mic back. But
that's true. They literally have not missed a single show. Somebody asked me the other day, because my dad films, and like when I do 2 or 3 shows in a month, I'm singing the same songs, right? It's not like I'm changing them. And then my producer was like, so your dad just has hours and hours of videos of you singing the same thing? Yes. And I'm like, yes, he does. He has not missed a single show.
I love that.
Yeah. They were also at the same time telling me, you need to get into a good college, you can't study music, right? So it felt very conflicting my whole life. I was confused a little bit. I'm not going to lie, I was confused. Because how can I spend all my time perfecting and honing in on my craft when I need to spend all this time in this very rigorous academic environment? Once I got into college, it was actually a happy accident in a way that I got into a business fraternity. I was in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, but I got into a business fraternity. And the only reason I joined that business fraternity is because somebody from my high school, one of my best friends, she was like, join my business fraternity. She had already graduated. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll go. It's a club. The only reason I chose to do it is because I actually didn't make it into any of the a cappella groups at U of I. If I'd gotten into a cappella, I don't think my life would look anything. I know this sounds crazy. It's just an a cappella it's a college a cappella group. Yeah. But I believe that it would change the entire trajectory of my career in corporate America as a consultant and also as a musician.
That's real.
100%. Yeah, I did occasional performances with the Black Student Union for Cotton Club once a year.
I remember there was this one performance because everyone was talking about it. It was a Beyonce song. Which one? Yo, she was known for this. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Diamond.
Do you know, for months, people would be like, "Hey, Beyonce," on the bus. And
I would love that. I would love that, girl. That's like a good flex.
I did it first. I was like, but then after I was like, man, you don't even know my real name. You don't know my real name. But I did it. I was called Beyonce for a very long time. But yeah, I would do those every year. But that was kind of it. Because I didn't have another musical outlet. I wasn't doing a cappella every day. I did my voice lessons in high school, but I stopped once I went to college because I was 3 hours away. Until my junior year, I went abroad, I studied abroad, and we formed a band in Spain.
I was going to say, tell me more about Spain.
Okay, we formed a band in Spain, and it was just people from my program. And I actually went there not knowing a single person in my program, but I left with some of the best friends.
Oh, that's always the best.
It was. And one of the program directors at the university that I was at in Spain, he was really passionate about music, so he put a band together. And so we performed a couple times, actually.
Period.
In a couple different dive bars. And we got paid.
Okay, so this is like the rise of your career, basically.
Yeah, that was actually the first time I had been paid as a musician, actually.
In Spain.
Yeah, in
That's
Spain.
wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That.
It was really cool. It just wasn't consistent.
I feel that.
And it was like a fun thing to do on the side.
It was just like taste.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But remember, it's what feeds my soul. So when I say performing and making music gives me this soul fueling feeling that I have never felt doing anything else.
I feel that. I mean, I'm feeling it here. And also, I've seen you perform, and you're just so, like, in your element.
Yeah.
Like, it's a beautiful thing to witness. So it's, like, it's not surprising that's, like, it just shows, like, that's you. Yeah. That's your passion. Yeah. That's
when I feel most like myself. A lot of us in the world, actually, put those things aside because we feel like
that's not the priority. We need to have
it's not the priority.
Yeah.
And we're told... Musicians are told all the time that it's not a valid career to be a musician. Yeah. It's not valid to be a creator. It's not valid to be an artist. It's not a real job. Yeah. People say that a lot.
A lot.
And nowadays, I think people are a little bit more accepting. But when you grow up in an immigrant family and you are told this is what it has to be, it's very hard for you to get out of that and to find ways to pursue those things that might seem like less lucrative. And the guarantee of whatever other people would define as success is not a guarantee, right? You have to be willing to really bet on yourself. And it also is hard if you feel like you have other people depending on you. I think about the sacrifices that I watched my parents make so that I could go to IMSA, so that I could go to a really great college, and I could have the things and the life that I've created for myself. And there was a brief period of time where I felt like I regretted not starting taking music and being multi-hyphenate seriously sooner. But I actually have come to this realization over the past few months that everything happens for a reason in the way that it's supposed to. What I did, because I didn't get into a cappella, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this music elective. I'm going to take this songwriting class. And in it, there is this funny little dude. His name was Zach Molina. I'm giving this man a shout out. Zach Molina. And he's also Filipino. And at the end of the class, we had to, for our final project, we had to make an EP, but we had to do one song on our EP, which was a collaboration with somebody else in the class. And I chose Zach, and we decided to work together on this. Fast forward now, after this freshman year elective, we've graduated now, and I see that he's in this band. And I'm like, what is this band? It's like right at the end of 2021, I think. Okay. And I see that he's in this band, and I'm like, what is this? What is going on? Like, let me just check it out, right? Let me just see what he's doing. I go to their show. They're performing at Reggie's. That's what caught my eyes.
Reggie's big.
Yeah, it's big. And they were performing at Reggie's. I was like, oh, his band got a gig at Reggie's.
Like, that's like, okay.
Like, okay, like you're doing something, you know? So I was like, let me go check it out and see. So I went, and we just kind of reconnected after that. I went to the show. I was like, wow, they're pretty good. And they had somebody else doing background vocals, and I was like, I would love to do background vocals. Like, they're an all-boy band, and they had one woman doing background vocals, and I was like, oh, maybe I could do that, or maybe we could just collaborate, right? Yeah. Because I really wanted to find my passion in music again, because at this time also, my previous relationship and it had ended, right? And so I had so much more time to focus on, like, what do I actually like?
It was like a renewal season.
Yes, it was a season of renewal. And so I went to the show, we reconnected, and I texted him, and I was like, hey, I would love to collaborate or do something, like let's jam or something. Yeah. And so he invited me to jam, and I ended up writing a song with the other lead singer of this band that day. And then a couple months later, he calls me and he's like, hey, we have another gig at Reggie's. Do you want to join us on stage? And I was like, absolutely. And it was so fun. Performing, it was just so much fun. And the vibes were just right. I really clicked with the band, and I really loved it. And I was like, I would love to make this a regular thing. And then they asked me to join the band. And the band is called GroupChat. The band is called GroupChat. Honestly, it was just a really humbling moment, but also a really fulfilling moment to realize that this is all these domino chips fall so that you can see the bigger picture.
There's so much you said that I relate with the immigrant experience and like the pressures of like, you need to build a better life for yourself, right? Like the Nigerian saying is doctor, lawyer, engineer, or disgrace. Like you can't, you can't do the arts, but that's, for me, like how you were more in business and consulting, mine was leaning more into tech because that was my way of kind of getting closer to what my passions are, which is media and content. I kind of had to find a way to balance that corporate thing with this. And that's something I'm still trying to balance, but I will say,
same.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy though that I am where I am now because I work for a Black-owned game studio. So
yes, period.
Shout out to Decoy Games, okay. Where I do feel like I'm able to just be more me because I'm realizing part of what makes me happy or what fills my soul is making people happy, if that makes sense, and creating content that matters.
And your energy is infectious. It would be a shame for you not to use it in this way and to share it with people.
Thank you.
I don't know how you do it, but you just have this infectious energy, and so it's just it would be a shame not to share it with everybody. So I'm glad that you're doing this too.
I will say it's interesting talking about energy because again, going back to like you talking about having immigrant parents and like just like the way you grew up. I think I'm able to be who I am because I had a very unique upbringing in the suburbs and being the only there. And I know you can relate there. Like, what was it like for you growing up in an environment where there weren't a lot of people like you?
So I'm from the western suburbs. I'm from Oswego, and when I was growing up, I remember there was a point where it was like one street in and out of the entire town. And so when I say I was the only, I literally mean in my entire elementary school, I was actually the only.
I feel that.
I said that my parents made sacrifices. They chose to live here. My parents, my dad is Black. He's Jamaican.
Yeah.
My mom is from the Philippines. So they chose to live here because they wanted to, like we talked about, creating a better life for their family, to give you opportunities that they didn't have. And putting myself in a place where the school district is really good, right? Or putting me in a place where the school district was really good and I could get a good education, a foundational education. That was our priority. But I was the only person that looked like me. And so while I did have friends, it did feel at sometimes isolating. Yeah. And at other times very much conflicting inside because I just didn't really understand. I just didn't understand.
I'm glad you said isolating, because I think that's the one thing people don't really recognize, why representation is so important, because when there's a lack thereof, when you don't see other people experiencing what you're experiencing, then you have to experience those things on your own. And then it's like, how do I validate what I'm experiencing is real, because I have no other buddy around me.
Yeah. And obviously my parents experienced those things.
Of course.
But I think your parents try to
hide it.
Yeah, try to hide it. They try to shield it from you. And they did. So we didn't really talk about that, about race or any of that really very much growing up. A little bit, but not very much. So when I started to have experiences that were much more, I guess I'd say, obvious. Yeah. It started a deeper conversation with my parents about, well, why did you even move us here in the first place, right? And I remember my best friend at the time, we were sitting at the cafeteria at lunch. This is my freshman year of high school. So at this point, now I wasn't the only, but it was still very much a minority, right? So she said something like, oh, I would never date a Black man because they're scary. She said that. When I say it was my best friend, now I'm 14, right? I'm 14. Yeah, I know.
Don't tell my mom.
It was funny. Then it was like, what? Then it was like, that's sad. Right? It's really sad. I'm smiling now, but
I could tell you, I mean, I've had a similar experience, and it's just like, did that really come out of your mouth?
It really came out of her mouth. So we had this conversation, and it was the first very serious conversation I had with others, and then eventually myself too, about my identity and what does it mean to be a multiracial Black woman where I was, and just in general. So, you know, I said, what do you mean by that, right? Yeah. How could you say something like that? Yeah. And she went on to say something like, well, you know, Yasmine, if your mom was an Asian, we probably wouldn't be in the same academically talented classes. We probably wouldn't be friends.
Wait, are y'all still friends?
No. I believe I was put in her life to teach her something. Yeah. And she was put in my life to teach me something. Yeah. Right? You know, this idea of being multi-hyphenate for me isn't just about what I do, but also about how I identify, how I feel inside, how people perceive me.
It's right? More, because I was curious, like, how have these experiences fueled your art, your music?
When I create, I just create whatever feels right, whatever feels good. A lot of it has to do with about my own experiences. I write about love. I write about, you know, not knowing what's going on in my life, not knowing where I'm going. Yeah. I write about my friends' experiences in love and life. But the other thing that has been really difficult for me lately is actually about the team that I'm building. So I mentioned earlier that being a part of GroupChat really allowed me to create an environment for myself where I was surrounded by creative people. Yeah. Now, anybody who's going to go look up GroupChat after this, which you should, is going to see that it is a group of 5 white men, 1 Asian man, and me.
I love it though. They make great music.
We make great music.
Just say.
They have some real rhythm. Okay. I have found myself in a position where I am creating music that I want to be heard by people that look like me and other people that don't look like me as well. I want everybody to experience it, but I'm telling my story from the perspective of, this is me, this is Yasmine. I am a Jamaican woman. I'm a Filipino woman. I am a creator. I'm all these different things, right?
It's beautiful.
There are so many different ways to be a Black woman. Exactly. There is not one singular way.
Preach.
Right? So if anybody's going to sit there and tell me, oh, you're not really about, your culture, your identity. Right. I'm like, exactly. You don't know me.
Exactly.
I live as a black and Asian woman every single day. Every single day. Right? So you sitting there trying to judge me for that and it took a long time for me to really feel comfortable. And I still have to remind myself every single time too that, that nobody else can tell me how to be me. The most important thing for me is to build a team of winners.
Yes.
A team of winners. And if I can bring anybody that looks like me up along the journey, I'm going to.
Yeah.
But I also need to stay true to creating the art and not compromising the art and then what I want to share because I'm worried about what other people are going to think.
This is me saying this as a fan, as a friend, as a supporter. Please stay true to who you are because it shows in your music and your audience, your fans, they're out there and they're growing in droves. Yeah. So just stick on your path.
I do believe that the things that we do, the things that we create, while they are in some ways self-serving because we enjoy them, they're also ways that we have to give back to the world, to our community. And that is why we're doing things.
Exactly.
That's why we do anything, really. Like nothing that you do only impacts you. It always has some sort of other,
like a ripple effect.
A ripple effect.
This was such an amazing conversation.
It really was. Every conversation we have is an amazing conversation.
Period. Now we just bless the viewers. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Speaking about the viewers, what advice do you have for them?
Ooh, advice for the viewers. I would say you should absolutely continue to do the things that fuel your soul. Really make sure that you're in an environment that allows you to be your whole self. And if that's not always possible 100% of the time, find ways to make that possible. What is a life worth living if you can't do those kinds of things and you just kind of spend it doing the things that you think you should be doing? You should do the things that you truly want to do.
How do you make your everyday a yay, or how do you aim to do that?
So the one thing I try to do to make every day a yay is to know that by doing a little bit of what fuels my soul or what I'm passionate about, a little bit of work every single day, that it is a surefire way to make sure that you reach your goals. Because I think sometimes we can end a day thinking, man, I didn't really accomplish that much, right? But you know that you did a little bit of work, even if it was just send one email, even if it was write one lyric, even if it was watch a YouTube video for 2 minutes of a YouTube video on a song release strategy or something like that.
It's little by little.
In order to make every day a yay, you have to find a way to celebrate the little things and the accomplishments in life and be grateful for them.
Okay, period. How can we support you?
I love this question.
Yeah.
How can you support me? So firstly, you can listen to my music.
Check it out.
Listen to my music. You can find it on all streaming platforms under YASMINE. That's YASMINE. And I have 2 singles out. I have Eyelashes and I have The Right Way. Definitely great songs if you like R&B, if you like pop. Really, really fun songs. And you can also support my media pages as well. You can follow along on my journey being a multi-hyphenate. I talk about music, but I also talk a lot about what it means to be a creator, what it means to have your day job, to be a multi-hyphenate, all the thoughts and experiences and kind of things that I talked about today, but that go through my mind on a daily basis. So you can follow me there as well at The Queen Yazzie G. The Queen YAZZYG on all social media platforms. That is my handle. So that's how you can support me.
I'm grateful for you. Don't change. Continue to be a light. I'm so excited.
Too.
Look, we're gonna grow together.
Yes, seriously.
And you know what? We should just keep enjoying life because every day is
a yay!